Dr. Dana Tassone with HFT 6296 participants discussing Chapter 8 lecture notes in the course. This particular chapter, the author really talks about people generally. He talks about staffing issues, retention issues, and issues involved with directing an organization. And of course, he's talking about individuals at high levels of executive rank, COOs, CEOs, those types of people. And you've looked at the literature exhaustively, I'm sure by now, and you've seen where individuals are placed at the helm of an organization. They earn accolades for for operating an organization, mostly based on the shareholders' value, and then that same individual is forced to step down with his or her golden parachute, of course, lots of money, and he or she is replaced. And the question that you ask is, I thought this guy or girl was so great. Why is he getting released? And the answer is always is a shift in strategic direction. So at that level, we hire individuals that are appropriate for various strategies. And the author talks about different strategies, from the positive strategy of growth to the negative strategy of retrenchment. And he talks about matching managers to any given strategy. And he goes ahead and lists categories of management types, management personalities that are suitable for different types of strategic directions. And if you watch the landscape, the executive landscape, you'll see a pendulum shift back and forth. In bad times, the organization will hire a financial individual, a financial-oriented individual, and that person will cut the aspects of the organization to make it lean and trim, and then at a point in time, that person is replaced by a marketing person who will grow the organization. And those types of people spend a lot of money in order to achieve growth, and they'll be successful for a period of time. Then it will be deemed that the organization spends too much money, and the pendulum will shift back toward a financially oriented person, and on and on and on it swings back and forth, and this becomes a cycle. And the question a person asks is, why don't you put a person who is balanced in there? And organizations probably about 10 years ago started to realize that this makes sense, and they started hiring individuals from a number of different disciplines that are more balanced in nature. And these people take a more long-term approach. We talked about short-term strategies versus long-term. A long-term approach to balancing an organization. And in the long run, these are the individuals with the best opportunities to establish a sustainably competitive organization overall. Then the author goes on to talk about management by objectives. I believe I've mentioned this to you before. It's a daunting process, but in my observation, it's a worthwhile process within any organization, no matter what the size. And this process involves shared goal setting from objectives from the top of the organization down through every level of the organization, all the way to the lowest levels of the organization. And the way it operates is an executive person will have his or her objectives, share those objectives with the next level down. Those people will create objectives to feed those objectives, and they will mutually agree to what those objectives finally should be, and then the process continues on and on and on at each level of the organization. And as you can imagine, this is very time-consuming, and it requires a substantial commitment to shared goal setting. But the advantage is that in these types of organization, I have found that what you have is you have a group you have a culture established wherein people buy into the strategic direction of the organization. Why? Because if somebody gives you a goal, then you say, okay, this is my goal, and I'll see what I can do about it. But if you make your goal, then you own it. It's something you made, and therefore, of course, you'll perform appropriately. The author proceeds to talk about TQM, Total Quality Management, quite the management fad, taught in all the schools. Maybe they're still teaching it, I don't know. And it's a concept of continuous improvement, and it's based on, it was established by William Deming, and it's based on statistical analysis of quality within organizations from the viewpoint of a customer. It's a wonderful concept, but unfortunately, in actual practice, it's not as efficient as organizations would like them to be, and most managers don't enjoy having TQM types of things thrust upon them. I wrote an article a few years back with some colleagues about management fads, and included TQM in the fads we talked about, and we received hate mail from academics, of course, who were outraged that we called TQM a fad. They were saying it's here to stay. As you know, TQM evolved into Six Sigma, and Six Sigma is still alive in the Starwood organization. I had a friend who was a Six Sigma black belt, and in that organization, and it seems to be working for them. Another person, talking about individuals, groups of individuals, another person that you may have heard of was named Geert Hofstadter, and he established he did a large study with IBM, the IBM Corporation, and he established some considerations for multinational business, which its timing could not have been any better. And he identified people from various cultures in various nations, and he plotted their personality types, which are nothing more than preferences for response to given environmental stimuli. And he created what is known as the power distance model, and that model was the catalyst for today's diversity training in organizations. And I gave you a pretty lengthy discussion on how that works. So here the author gets around to talking about people. We can, and really for the first time actually, and you all know that people are crucial to the strategic direction of any firm, especially in our industry. And I think we're out of time, so I'll see you in the next clip.